NCAA sanctions.
I'm Joelle Kaplan. I'll tell you why UNC students are facing yet another probable tuition increase.
In sports, despite sanctions, the football team is riding the running game to wins, and men's soccer is hanging on to an undefeated conference record.
Weathercaster Joe Belanger will tell us about some record-setting temperatures this week.
All of that, and we'll tell you about UNC volunteers who are helping UNC employees one brick at a time.
Carolina Week starts right now.
From the James F. Goodman Studio in the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, connecting campus and community, this is Carolina Week.
These findings and the outcome that has resulted today, by no way does it represent the type of football program that we're trying to build here. And certainly it does not represent in any form or fashion the type of football program that the University of North Carolina deserves.
3 football players are out for the season for taking gifts from agents. Good evening, I'm Megan Cassell.
And I'm Eddie Sykes. Thanks for joining us. All 3 of the men were among the team's stars, but none has played a single down while the investigation is dragged on. Sportscaster Justin Page joins us in the studio. Justin, lots of Tar Heels figured we might lose these key players.
Eddie, that's true, but even if you pretty much know it's coming, a body blow still hurts. And today's news was definitely a major body blow to Tar Heel Nation.
UNC running back Johnny White always wanted the chance to shine. But during the past 3 seasons, White bounced from position to position as the Heels built their running game around Sean Drone and Ryan Houston. But ever since the NCAA investigations forced coaches to move White into the starting job, the career backup has been the focal point of Carolina's offense. In Saturday's game against Clemson, White rushed for 89 yards and scored 2 touchdowns and also led the Heels in receiving.
That's right. Today, the team announced that Marvin Austin, Greg Little, and Robert Quinn will not play this year. And in addition to those 3 players, prior to Saturday's game against Clemson, officials announced that fullback Devin Ramsey is also ineligible until further notice.
Well, Justin, what is the athletics department going to do about keeping a tighter rein on student athletes?
Well, Eddie, from now on, as Butch Davis said today, players must sign out when they leave Chapel Hill. They must tell athletics officials where they're going, who they're going with, and who's paying for the trip.
All right, well, that's Justin Page starting us off live in the studio. Thanks so much, Justin. We had a chance to hear students' reactions to the news this afternoon, and many are upset about how these players are affecting the university's reputation.
We have an honor code here for a reason. It's not to ignore it and not to just act about yourself. It's about, being honest, integrity. I mean, those are key concepts I think Chapel Hill is all about.
With all those guys being pretty high NFL prospects, not playing the year before they're coming out in the draft is definitely, I think, going to hurt their draft status.
It's definitely bringing down the whole university. At the ECU game, several of the ECU fans were wearing shirts that said we were cheaters, and so that's kind of like upsetting.
Despite today's bad news, university system officials say some good can come from all the NCAA scrutiny. Reporter Kirsten Garris tells us UNC is trying to learn from this in order to keep anything like it from happening again.
UNC football has dominated headlines weekly, not for game wins, but for a tough 2-pronged NCAA investigation.
Because it's a twin investigation, it has double the intensity. The compliance issue has nothing to do with the academic side. If you could separate these out, they would be manageable.
Napoleon Byers is a member of the Faculty Athletics Committee, and he said the investigation isn't as bad as it seems.
Oftentimes you'll think, well, there's nothing good about an investigation, but there are really. One is that we announced it first. It didn't come from somewhere else, and the academic investigation was announced by us.
FAC Chair Steve Resnick says despite the current problems, UNC is doing everything possible to do things by the book.
I think if there was any question of whether do they do things the right way at Carolina, the answer is yes. Are they not monitoring what's going on? They are monitoring what's going on, and this just was an anomaly.
The investigation has left many with questions and doubts, but president of the UNC school system, Erskine Bowles, said the university is determined to find every fact in this case before making any decisions.
And we're not going to rush to judgment. We're not going to try to make any premature decisions. We're going to try to follow the facts and make smart decisions as we go forward. And I think that's the right way to go. And I feel good about the process that's going on now.
We want to understand what happened and then look at our policies to see if there's anything that we could do to decrease the chances of something like that happening again.
In Chapel Hill, I'm Kirsten Garris, Carolina Week.
Despite those assurances, the athletics program is putting more stringent guidelines in place regarding where athletes go and who pays. And the thing that has many observers worried is that the NCAA has a history of concentrating not on what officials knew, but on what they should have known. It's called institutional oversight. This could be far from over. The owner of our mascot, Ramses, is dead following a fall from his tractor 3 weeks ago. Rob Hogan was a respected and beloved farmer in the Carrboro community. In addition to farming, Hogan was a fourth-generation caretaker of Ramses.
But it's a long tradition. We don't want to stop.
His family has cared for this rare breed of ram since 1924. Ramses made it to every football game to encourage the players and excite the fans. Ramses was absent from the first 3 home football games after Hogan became ill. Rob Hogan's memorial service will be held Wednesday at 1 o'clock in the George Watts Alumni Center. UNC students are paying more to go to school this year. Reporter Joelle Kaplan is live in the studio to tell us if another tuition increase is on the way.
Thanks, Megan. UNC is known as a bargain school, a great education at a great price. But on the heels of this year's dramatic tuition increase, students could be facing even bigger bills next year.
Whether you're from in-state or out of state, if you're a UNC student, your tuition went up this semester. And the chair of the UNC System Board of Governors, Hannah Gage, says that another increase is likely on the horizon.
It's hard for me to imagine us not having to have some kind of increase. I think our challenge will be being able to keep the money on our campuses.
UNC system officials are feeling pressure from the NC General Assembly to give up tuition funds to help fill the $3.5 billion hole in the state's budget. But System President Erskine Bowles says the board will work to keep tuition money where it belongs.
You know, we're prepared to take our cuts along with everybody else, but we need this tuition that the students are paying for a quality education to stay on the campuses, and that'll be a fight we'll have to have next year.
Bowles says he's worked to decrease spending in the UNC system to make up for the budget cuts, but it's just not enough. He says the students he's talked to were understanding about the necessary tuition hike.
They'll give additional money to the university, A, if we spend it wisely, and B, if it goes to improve the quality of the education.
And by helping maintain the school's high standards, the tuition increase will actually help UNC to keep its reputation for providing a great education at a bargain price.
The Board of Governors was going to determine the amount of the increase later this year.
Joelle, is there any way to predict how much more students will have to pay?
You know, there really isn't, Megan, but the BOG is proposing to raise the cap on tuition increases to 10% instead of the current 6.5%, so it could be that high.
That's Joelle Kaplan live in the studio. Thanks, Joelle. Recent suicides among gay teens across the country have drawn attention for bullying in schools.
Coming up, we'll tell you what UNC does to protect the gay community on campus.
G-Morning, sunshine. Wakey, wakey. Text me back. Hey, did you tell your parents about us? Let's skip first period together. Did you get all my texts? Is practice over yet? Where are you at? Are you with your friends? That's L-A-A-A-A-M-M-E-E-E. Capital X, lowercase o, capital X, lowercase o. I love you. JK, I hate you. JK. Are you ignoring me? We're in a huge fight right now. Is this something I did? I can see your lights on. I'm coming over. What'd you dream about? Me? I'm lonely. Holla back. Holla back. Let's try something new. Nude pics. Send me some. Text me.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Bullying is a big problem no matter what, and now bullying associated with sexual orientation is becoming a bigger part of the conversation. Reporter Claudia Rupsis went out to see how UNC deals with this issue.
A couple of weeks ago, you probably didn't recognize 18-year-old Tyler Clementi's name. Then someone secretly taped and posted a video on the internet of Clementi having sex with another man. 2 days later, Clementi took his life by jumping from the George Washington Bridge. That was September 22nd, and it made national news. Clementi's case is one of 7 suicides reported during 2 weeks in September, all by students who were reportedly victims of bullying because of their sexual preference. Here at UNC, the Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Transgender, and Queer Center offers programs to help the gay community. Center Director Terry Phoenix says bullying of gay students is a big reality.
What's so unique about this September is the number that have come to public attention. But these incidents happen all the time.
The undergraduate group called UBLITZA for Gay, Lesbian, Bisexual, Transgender, Straight Alliance works with the LGBTQ Center on campus. Co-president Billy Klutz says his group is there to help those going through a difficult time.
It's a really rough place. Statistically, they say that 9 out of 10, queer students are bullied in high school, which is really rough, and we have the largest rate of suicide of any minority.
UBLITZA held a vigil at the pit in memory of the students who committed suicide because of bullying. People who attended said it was an emotional reminder of how much work still needs to be done to protect the gay community.
We stand in solidarity and say never again should a 13-year-old think that there is no other option than suicide.
Members of both groups say events like this one, along with other programs they offer, show those who are bullied that they're not alone. In Chapel Hill, I'm Claudia Rupsich, Carolina Week.
Well, today is National Coming Out Day. If you or someone you know wants more information about available resources on campus, visit our website, carolinaweek.org.
Humanitarian, Nobel laureate, and professor Elie Wiesel uses his life experience to warn against indifference. As a survivor of the Holocaust, Wiesel has spent his life defending human rights to promote peace. Professor Wiesel spoke about preventing indifference in all areas of life, reciting the phrase, "I shall not stand idly by." He's written 57 award-winning books and has received more than 120 honorary degrees.
Of all places, an abandoned nightclub on Rosemary Street is now the home for student art. The Artery held its fall opening on Friday, drawing in local art lovers with bold student works. A few artists even took time to explain their inspirations to curious visitors. The Artery founder says the UNC art department has been very supportive, but has taken a hands-off approach regarding the operation of the gallery.
Local CrossFit fans are putting their muscles to good use in the fight against breast cancer. The group came together Saturday for the Barbells for Boobs fundraiser. Participants competed in the Amazing Grace Challenge, which consisted of 30 repetitions of lifting barbells off the ground, stopping at their shoulders, and then lifting the weight above their heads. Volunteers wrote down times, and participants cheered, while fellow lifters competed in the event. CrossFit raised more than $300 to help less fortunate women afford mammograms and other preventative breast cancer care.
Well, the weather outside has been very nice to get out and exercise, and weathercaster Joe Belanger joins us in the studio just now to tell us about that weather.
Yeah, Joe, can we expect more good weather and sunshine?
Megan, it's looking to be really nice weather out there. If you didn't know anybody, you would have thought it would have been summer with how much sunshine and warm temperatures we've been having. Coming up after the break, we'll take a look to see when we can expect cooler temperatures to hit our area.
Mom!
What?
You can't find Ichabod.
What?
You
don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who would love to put up with you.
I'm starving. What's for breakfast?
Guten Tag!
Johannes, Franz!
I bring you arts-enriched Raisinblums, fortified with increased test scores and creative problem-solving skills.
It's good!
And good for you.
Bobby? Susie?
Don't worry, that's just the power of the arts!
Feed your kids the arts. For 10 simple ways to learn how, visit AmericansForTheArts.org.
Hey, good evening, everyone. I'm weather forecaster Joe Belanger. If you were lucky enough to have today off from school or work for the Columbus Day holiday, you are in for a treat. We had some very warm temperatures out there, very pleasant weather. We are expecting to cool down by the end of the week and some possibility of some rain in sight. So try to get out there and enjoy this nice weather while we still can. Our temperature trend has been the main story these past couple days. All the way in through the weekend, we are normally, this blue line is where we should be, 72, 71 degrees. This yellow line, though, is showing where we have been, 83 on Saturday, 86 Sunday, 87 today. That tied the record set back in 1962. Tomorrow, we're expecting to get one better at 88. That's going to demolish the record set back in 1962 of 85. So very unusually warm temperatures right now for this time of year. Our satellite image is not showing a whole lot of activity over the southeastern part of the United States. Very clear skies. That's really allowing the sun to penetrate through and warm up everything around here. Another reason we're staying so warm is due to this high pressure system down in the Gulf Coast. It's really circulating in a lot of warm weather into our area, the southerly winds keeping things very warm for our region. Our next weather maker is over off in the plains right now. This low pressure system, it's going to make its way eastward, get here by Wednesday night into Thursday. That unfortunately is not the best timing for us, as we are expecting to have the state fair come up then. But for right now, we'll take a look at the tropics. Not a whole lot going on there. Staying pretty quiet off in the Atlantic. The only other region we're keeping an eye on right now is the Caribbean. There's about an 80% chance that this cluster of clouds will form into a named storm. That would be Paula. If it did, it only looks to be affecting the Caribbean and Mexico, bringing about with it some heavy rain and some high winds. We should stay clear from all that. Like we did mention with the fair, first day it starts October 14th. This Thursday runs through October 24th. And it does not look to start out on the best note. We're expecting rain on Thursday, kind of a damp day, 68 for your high. Friday, we're going to clear out, but it will be quite windy and only 66 for the high, so chilly weather. Saturday really looks to be your best chance to get out there to maybe enjoy some funnel cake. High again around to be 69 degrees, sunny conditions. Very pleasant weekend on the way as well once we get past the rain on Thursday. For tonight, back in our region, we're going to stay mostly clear. Southerly winds keep us pretty mild, low about 57. Tomorrow, there's that record-breaking day. It looks to be like anyway. High of about 88 for tomorrow. Summer conditions for sure. And your five-day forecast is showing some clouds building into the area on Wednesday, and then that will lead to some more likely heavier rain on Thursday. Looks to be pretty much of a washout on Thursday, but we do clear up for Friday and Saturday, so you really get a little bit of everything in this forecast. Some warm temperatures today and tomorrow, fall temperatures by the end, and a little bit of rain mixed in the middle.
Hopefully it won't get in the way of the state fair plans.
Not too bad. Once the weekend hits especially, we should clear up nicely.
All right, well, I'm definitely excited. Thanks, Joe.
You're welcome.
Great weekend weather does make for a great opportunity to get out and run to help find a cure. Kappa Kappa Gamma held its 12th annual Tar Heel Trot 5K Sunday. 300 runners turned up to run for friends for an early breast cancer test. You might think the pink ribbon logo is upside down, but it symbolizes a new direction in cancer research. The sorority raised more than $1,000 for the cause.
Sportscaster Justin Page joins us now in the studio. So, Justin, what does this suspension mean for the future of UNC football?
Yeah, we already talked a little bit about the new news coming out today.
No, well, I mean, for the futures of three players that we mentioned earlier, Marvin Austin, Greg Little, Robert Quinn, they are done for the season. We won't be seeing them anymore, and that probably is going to be the end of their UNC careers. But actually, for some good news, coming up after the break, how many running backs does it take to get the Heels a victory? Well, this season, only one.
Hey guys, this is my teenage friend Fred.
Rad! Hey pal, you want to pay attention to the road?
Relax, man, I got it.
Look, my man, if your bad driving gets me killed, you better hope you die too, or I will haunt you silly. And I'm not just gonna float over your bed like, woo! I'm gonna be making a more annoying noise, like, ah! And instead of wearing those long white robes, I think I'll wear something more form-fitting and upsetting. The other ghosts will look and be like, wow, we've never seen that before.
The odds of this daughter of a clergyman spending 11 weeks at #1 on the U.S. singles charts? 1 in 19 million. The odds of going on to win 6 Grammy Awards? 1 in 1.4 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 110. I'm Toni Braxton, and I encourage you to learn the signs of autism at autismspeaks.org.
Welcome to sports. I'm Justin Page. Fans are finally getting some questions answered about some of the football players involved in both university and NCAA investigations. As I mentioned earlier, Marvin Austin, Greg Little, and Robert Quinn were announced in a press conference today by Athletics Director Dick Bedour and head coach Butch Davis that they are done for the season. I was there. UNC Athletics Director Dick Bedour might have said it best.
We're dealing with the crisis.
Nearly 3 months after news broke about the NCAA investigation regarding agents, UNC announced that defensive tackle Marvin Austin had been dismissed from the team and that starters Greg Little and Robert Quinn are now permanently ineligible. Coach Butch Davis expressed disappointment in his veterans.
I know that they're very remorseful about that, but it doesn't diminish the fact that these actions were poor choices in these kids' lives.
Those choices included taking jewelry and trips valued anywhere from $5,000 to $13,000. The players also lied to NCAA investigators. Davis says he understands how embarrassing the situation has been for the university.
You know, I personally want to apologize to the chancellor, the board of trustees, and our faculty. I want to apologize to the alums and our supporters for having to go through this.
Athletics Director Dick Bedour also said the university should have done more to keep agents away from the players.
We should have acknowledged the level that these guys are and that there were going to be people coming at them. I mean, I'm standing before you telling you, and I know Butch would agree. I wish we had done more. I'd like to relive that part.
While today's announcement might provide some closure, Davis says rebuilding the program's reputation will take some time.
It's not something that we're going to be able to snap our fingers and overnight obviously change the perception that has transpired over the last couple of weeks, but I give you my word and I promise you as the head football coach, we're going to work every day to restore that confidence. In addition to the 3 players we already told you about, 5 remain in question. The most notable of those are cornerback Charles Brown and running back Ryan Houston. Carolina's men's soccer team moves up to 8-2 and is still undefeated in the ACC. UNC dominated play against the Demon Deacons on a Friday night. Here's UNC keeper Scott Goodwin with one of his 4 saves on the night. Good work by him. And on offense, check this out. Stephen McCarthy, he chests the ball right there and then feeds it to Michael Farfan. And we all know what he can do. Watch him work. On the top, he goes left, one-on-one, then fires it. And then watch that. The ball hits the back of the net to give the Heels the 1-0 win. UNC is now 8-2 overall and 5-0 in the ACC. The women's softball team is staying loose in the offseason and doing it with style. Sunday, the Heels took on Elon at Anderson Stadium. Pretty good crowd on hand. Brittany McKinney comes out on fire for the Heels. She wastes no time cracking this home run over the center field in the first inning. Pitcher Lori Springola held Elon to 0 runs until the 6th inning. And UNC junior Kelsey Green started a rally in the bottom of the 4th with a too-hot-to-handle line drive down the third base line. It's good enough to get her a stand-up double. Haley Dickey follows Green's lead with a shot just over the left field fence. Watch it go, watch it go. And you'll see it drop. There we go, home run for her. And the Heels weren't just done yet. In the 6th, Amy Neese steps up and hits this bomb to right field, and the Heels take it easily, 9-1. Good stuff by them. UNC field hockey can add a couple more win tallies to the board after a successful weekend in Massachusetts. The ladies hit the turf against Boston College on Friday. First-year student Marta Malmberg had her first goal as a Tar Heel, and Jacqueline Redvani scored twice to help the Teals take it going away 3-0. And then on Sunday, the Heels topped number 5 Connecticut 3-1. It was their 7th win of the season against the top 20 team and the team's 8th shutout on that record pace. Meanwhile, switching it to volleyball, the team is no longer undefeated in the ACC after a difficult weekend in Durham. That's right, they finally lost. Duke defeated the Heels in straight sets on Friday night. The loss snapped Carolina's 11-match winning streak and drops the Heels to 6-1 in the ACC. And of course, you know what that means. Another game against the Blue Devils means Carlisle Cup points were on the line. And with the win, Duke gets its very first Cup point. UNC still leads, though, by 1. The two Blues face off next week in women's soccer, on the October 28th in women's soccer. So we certainly wish the ladies the best of luck. And the football team, maybe some closure today with this announcement, but they got a game against Virginia on Saturday. Could potentially go 4-2.
Well, and we're hearing a lot of news about UNC wins, and it always hurts to see Duke get that number on the board, but at least it kind of helps ease the blow of this news today.
No, I would agree.
And we're running a little bit ahead.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks, Justin.
Thanks.
Well, many employees are in need of affordable housing.
Coming up, we'll tell you how one campus organization is meeting that need.
If you have a story idea, call Carolina Week at 919-843-8292 or email us at carolinaweek@unc.edu. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNC-CH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina 27599. Be sure to check out Carolina Week and Carolina Connection online at carolinaweek.org.
There's a lot of talk out on the street about his mother, your mother, their mother. But in the end, is anyone really even thinking about them?
Well, the high cost of living in Orange County means that some members of the community need a little help.
Reporter Trey Green tells us how UNC's chapter of Habitat for Humanity is making owning a home a reality for some in the Carolina family.
Well, it's too bad we didn't get to see that story because I had a really fulfilling opportunity a long time ago and for a couple of years to actually work with Habitat for Humanity. They do great work, and I don't know if you've had the opportunity to get out there yourself.
I haven't. I've been trying for a long time to get signed up, but there's always a waiting list to volunteer and participate.
Well, I know that we have a couple more opportunities to get that bill done in the future. It's actually called Habitat for Humanity. Check it out online. We'll put a link to it on our website. For now, that does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thanks for watching. Have a good night.